Imagine waking up every morning with a clear purpose, grounded in peace, unshaken by the chaos that often surrounds us. In a world filled with distractions and ever-increasing demands on our time, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism provides us with the tools to reclaim control over our mornings, and by extension, our lives. Drawing from the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, we can create a morning routine that doesn't just prepare us for the day ahead, but builds the foundation for a resilient, meaningful life. This video is more than just about practical morning rituals. It's about aligning ourselves with the Stoic ideals of virtue, resilience, and wisdom. It's about taking the first few moments of the day and transforming them into an empowering ritual that sets the tone for everything that follows. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to integrate Stoic principles into your mornings to cultivate peace, clarity, and purpose, regardless of what the world throws at you. Stick around to discover the 10 powerful Stoic rituals that will change the way you approach your day and your life. 1. Embrace the present moment. Marcus Aurelius' mindset. Don't wake up with the regret of yesterday's failures, nor the anxiety about tomorrow's uncertainties, said Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's most famous advocates. These words echo with a profound sense of wisdom that transcends time, offering us a way to reclaim our mornings, our minds, and our lives. The truth is, most of us begin our mornings unconsciously, allowing our thoughts to immediately wander to the stresses of yesterday or the anxieties of the future. We wake up with a sense of mental clutter, a feeling that something important was left unresolved yesterday, or that we need to prepare for an overwhelming day ahead. This automatic response to our waking moments can set the tone for an entire day of restlessness and distraction. However, Marcus Aurelius invites us to do something radically different. He calls us to embrace the present moment, the only time truly in our control. Think about it. The first thought you have upon waking can either anchor you in the present or throw you into an emotional tailspin. If your mind immediately replays the mistakes of yesterday or anticipates the demands of tomorrow, you're not starting your day with clarity or peace. You're allowing external events, over which you have little control, to dominate your internal state. Personal story. There was a time in my life when mornings felt like a battlefield. The moment I opened my eyes, my thoughts would race, often consumed with the things I hadn't finished the night before, the deadlines I had yet to meet, and personal challenges that felt insurmountable. My heart would race, my stomach would tighten, and before I even got out of bed, I felt overwhelmed. I knew something had to change. I decided to try something different, something that Marcus Aurelius would approve of. I began to focus on just being in the moment. Instead of allowing the mental noise to take over, I started by taking a deep breath and simply centering myself in the here and now. I recognized that each morning was a new opportunity, a fresh start, free from the baggage of yesterday's mistakes or the fears of what might come tomorrow. It wasn't an instant transformation, but with practice, I found that this simple shift in my morning mindset began to change everything. Slowly but surely, I stopped allowing external stressors to control my emotions. Instead, I began each day grounded in a sense of calm and clarity. Lesson: your first thought of the day is incredibly powerful. What you choose to focus on in those initial moments has the power to shape the trajectory of your entire day. So, be intentional with that first thought. Instead of letting your mind drift into the regrets of the past or the worries of the future, take a moment to center yourself. Acknowledge that today is a new opportunity, a blank canvas. Practice gratitude for the things you have right now, not for what you lack. By grounding yourself in the present moment, you cultivate an inner peace that will allow you to handle the rest of your day with greater clarity and composure. This practice, this gift of presence, is something Marcus Aurelius himself lived by, and it's a gift that's available to each of us every single morning. 2. Cultivate purpose with the practice of Ikigai. Ikigai, a Japanese term meaning a reason for being, beautifully complements the Stoic philosophy, especially when considering the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. In his writings, Aurelius often spoke about the importance of understanding one's role in life and fulfilling it with integrity, focusing on contributing meaningfully to the world. He believed that a life guided by purpose leads to tranquility and fulfillment, even amidst the struggles and chaos of daily existence. The concept of Ikigai mirrors this Stoic principle, aligning your passions, talents, and the needs of the world, while living intentionally and with purpose. Personal story. When I first discovered the concept of Ikigai, it wasn't just another self-help idea. It became a guiding force that reshaped the way I approached my mornings. Before, my mornings often felt chaotic, rushed, distracted, and aimless. But as soon as I embraced this principle, I began waking up with a clearer sense of purpose. I started each day by asking myself, what can I contribute today that matters to me and to the world? It was a simple question, but it changed everything. Instead of feeling like I was simply going through the motions of work or personal obligations, I began seeing each action, no matter how small, as an opportunity to fulfill my purpose. For example, if I had a task to complete at work that seemed tedious or uninspiring, I would remember that my contribution, however minor it seemed, was part of something larger. It was a chance to improve, to serve others, and to move closer to the person I wanted to become. Suddenly, tasks that once felt draining became meaningful opportunities to align with my deeper purpose. And this shift wasn't just about productivity, it was about inner peace. By recognizing that each day was a chance to engage in work that resonated with my true purpose, I found myself more motivated, more grounded, and far less stressed. Lesson: like the Stoics, we must seek to fulfill our roles with integrity. Every day offers a chance to contribute something meaningful, even in the most mundane or challenging moments. By reflecting on your Ikigai each morning, asking yourself what truly matters, what you're passionate about, and how you can serve others, you create a foundation for a purposeful day. This daily practice of aligning your actions with your deeper purpose helps you transcend the noise of the world and connect with something greater than yourself. The Stoics believed that living in harmony with our true role brings not only fulfillment, but also serenity. Let this practice guide your mornings and, by extension, your life. When your actions are aligned with your purpose, you'll find that everything you do, no matter how small, becomes a meaningful part of your journey. 3. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. One of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy is the practice of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. This simple yet profound principle is incredibly powerful when applied to our mornings. In our modern world, where we're bombarded with constant demands, expectations, and uncertainties, it's easy to feel overwhelmed before the day has even truly begun. However, the Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control: the state of our mind, our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. Everything else is out of our hands. When we wake up, we cannot predict or control the events that will unfold during the day. We cannot foresee how people will react, how the world will shift, or whether obstacles will emerge unexpectedly. What we can control, however, is how we prepare ourselves to face the day. how we respond to challenges, and how we maintain our peace of mind, regardless of the external chaos. Personal story. I've always been a bit of a perfectionist. I used to plan my days down to the minute, thinking that if I controlled every detail, I could avoid stress and ensure everything went smoothly. But over time, I realized this approach was doing more harm than good. The constant pressure to manage everything left me feeling drained and frustrated. I was setting myself up for failure by trying to control things that were simply outside my reach. It wasn't until I embraced the Stoic mindset, acknowledging that there are some things I simply can't control, that I found peace. I started focusing on the things I could influence, like my attitude, my reactions, and my preparation for the day ahead. For example, while I couldn't control whether traffic would be light or heavy, I could control how I left the house, how I managed my time, and how I responded to unexpected delays. This shift in perspective made all the difference. Instead of constantly being on edge, trying to force the world to bend to my will, I found a sense of calm in simply being prepared for whatever came my way, while accepting the things I couldn't change. Lesson. The Stoics teach us that peace comes not from controlling every aspect of our lives, but from controlling how we respond to the world around us. When you wake up each morning, remind yourself that you can control how you start your day, your thoughts, your mindset, your actions, but you cannot control everything that happens. Accept that certain things are beyond your influence and focus on what you can manage: your thoughts, your behavior, and your attitude. By letting go of the need to control everything, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and create space for peace and clarity. This practice will allow you to face the day with resilience, knowing that you've done your part and accepting that some things are simply out of your hands. 4. Develop an evening routine to set the stage for your morning. The Stoics deeply understood the importance of preparation in every aspect of life. Marcus Aurelius, in particular, emphasized the role of discipline in maintaining tranquility. And this discipline extends into how we approach our evenings. A well-organized evening routine doesn't just help us rest. It serves as the foundation for the quality of the next day. The way you wind down at night, how you treat the hours before you go to sleep, has a direct impact on how you wake up and how you approach the following day. Imagine if you could wake up with a sense of calm instead of rushing straight into stress. The Stoics would argue that this sense of calm doesn't happen by chance. It's cultivated. By taking time in the evening to reflect, plan, and prepare, you set yourself up for a more peaceful, productive morning and day. It's about creating an environment and a mental state that makes the morning flow more smoothly. Personal story. I used to end my evenings scrolling through social media, checking emails, or binge-watching shows until I fell asleep. While this might seem like a relaxing way to end the day, I found that it left me feeling restless and unprepared for the morning. The distractions didn't allow my mind to wind down properly, and I often woke up feeling chaotic, with my thoughts still racing from the night before. One day, I decided to try something different. Instead of diving into the digital world before bed, I started setting aside time to reflect on the day. I would write down 3 things I had accomplished, or moments I was grateful for, followed by a short list of my top priorities for the next day. This simple act of reflection and planning gave me clarity and a sense of peace as I went to sleep, knowing I had a clear vision of what tomorrow would bring. Over time, I noticed a significant shift. My mornings became more intentional and focused, as I was no longer waking up to a rush of uncertainty. Instead, I woke up with a sense of purpose, having already set my goals the night before. I was mentally and emotionally prepared for the day ahead, And this remands of winding down effectively carried through into how I approached my mornings. Lesson: a solid evening routine is key to ensuring a smooth, purposeful start to your day. By taking the time to reflect on your accomplishments and prepare for the next day, you create a sense of clarity and direction that will help you wake up with a purpose. Instead of waking up to uncertainty and stress, you can begin each day feeling grounded and ready. This simple practice, reflecting on your day and planning ahead, aligns with the Stoic principles of intentional living, ensuring that your mornings and your life are rooted in calm and purpose. 5. The power of meditation and deep breathing. Marcus Aurelius, like many Stoic philosophers, placed a significant emphasis on the importance of mental discipline. For the Stoics, mastering the mind was just as crucial as mastering physical endurance or external circumstances. Aurelius often spoke about the need to control our thoughts and direct them with purpose instead of letting them wander aimlessly. One of the most effective ways to cultivate mental discipline and achieve clarity is through practices like meditation and deep breathing. These techniques offer us a simple yet profound way to center ourselves and reduce stress, especially at the start of our day. Meditation and deep breathing help us focus and calm our minds, clearing the clutter that can overwhelm us, particularly in the early morning hours. When we begin our day feeling mentally grounded, we are better equipped to handle whatever challenges come our way. Instead of rushing into a day filled with distractions, we create a space of clarity and composure from which we can act with intention and focus. Personal story. In the past, my mornings often felt like a whirlwind. I'd wake up and immediately dive into a mental list of tasks, worries, and the demands of the day. This created a sense of chaos before I even left my bed. It wasn't until I stumbled upon the simple practice of deep breathing and meditation that things began to change. Every morning now, I dedicate just 5 minutes to deep breathing exercises, slow, intentional inhales and exhales. This simple act calms my racing thoughts and allows me to feel more grounded as I start my day. What's incredible about this practice is that it's not just about relaxation. It's about setting the tone for the day ahead. It's about creating a moment of mental stillness where I can pause and gain clarity before diving into the rush of life. In the past, I would let my thoughts dictate the pace of my day. But now, with this moment of stillness, I feel more in control of my mental state. It's as if I'm setting my mind on the right course before I even get out of bed. Lesson: meditation and deep breathing are powerful tools for mental clarity, stress reduction, and emotional balance. By incorporating these practices into your morning routine, you give yourself the gift of calm and focus, two of the most valuable assets in a world that constantly demands our attention. These practices don't just prepare us for relaxation, they strengthen our minds, ensuring we approach the day ahead with a disciplined, resilient, and purposeful attitude. Start with just a few minutes each morning, and you'll begin to notice a significant shift in your mental state. The challenges of the day will feel more manageable, and your ability to respond with clarity and composure will be stronger than ever. 6. Avoid digital distractions. In today's world, digital distractions are an ever-present temptation, and they are arguably one of the greatest thieves of our time. The Stoics, however, understood the power of focus and the importance of channeling one's energy into what truly matters. They weren't distracted by the noise of the world around them, but rather, they trained themselves to direct their attention on what was essential, on their duties, their inner growth, and their contributions to society. In this sense, the Stoics offer us timeless wisdom on how to maintain mental clarity and discipline in a world filled with constant interruptions. One of the most powerful ways we can emulate this Stoic approach in today's world is by protecting our mornings from digital distractions. The first moments of the day set the tone for everything that follows. If we allow ourselves to be consumed by emails, social media updates, and news notifications as soon as we wake up, we surrender our attention to the external world before we've even had the chance to center ourselves. By disconnecting from our devices in the first moments of the day, we regain control over our energy, focus, and mindset. Personal story. I used to have the habit of checking my phone the moment I woke up. I'd scroll through emails, catch up on social media, and read the latest news. While it seemed harmless at first, I quickly realized that this habit was robbing me of my peace. Instead of starting my day with a calm, focused mind, I found myself rushing through tasks, reacting to messages and updates, and feeling overwhelmed by everything happening in the digital world. This all changed when I decided to make the first hour of my day my own. No phone, no notifications, just time for myself, whether that was to reflect, meditate, or enjoy a quiet cup of coffee. By setting this boundary, I began reclaiming control over my mornings. I noticed that I started the day feeling grounded and focused, rather than anxious and reactive. I was able to set clear intentions for the day, without the constant pull of digital distractions. Lesson: protect your mornings from the digital noise that surrounds us. The Stoics would have advised us to maintain control over our attention and to dedicate our first moments to what matters most, whether that's self-care, reflection, or engaging in purposeful activities. Disconnecting from our devices in the early hours of the day gives us the mental space we need to center ourselves, plan for the day, and approach life with intention. By doing so, we preserve our energy, focus, and sense of calm, allowing us to tackle the challenges of the day with clarity and resilience. 7. The importance of consistency. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is that virtue is not something that comes naturally, but is cultivated through consistent practice. This applies not only to our actions, but also to the cultivation of good habits and routines. The Stoics understood that personal growth requires effort over time, and that each day offers us a new opportunity to practice discipline and strengthen our character. Consistency, therefore, becomes a cornerstone of this process, whether it's in how we approach challenges, maintain our inner calm, or build the habits that shape our lives. The act of waking up at the same time each day and sticking to a morning routine might seem simple, but it is a powerful practice in self-discipline. It's a daily commitment to structure and purpose, one that reinforces the idea that growth happens incrementally, step by step. Just as Marcus Aurelius worked to build his character through small, deliberate actions, we too can cultivate our virtues and habits through the consistency of our actions each day. Personal story. In the early days of trying to build a consistent morning routine, I found it difficult. The allure of staying in bed a little longer, the comfort of warmth, and the temptation to press snooze made it so easy to slip back into old habits. But I pushed through, motivated by the understanding that consistency, no matter how small, was crucial for personal growth. At first, waking up at the same time every day felt like a battle, an uphill climb. But as the days turned into weeks, I began to notice something profound. Consistency brought stability. It wasn't just about waking up early. It was about reinforcing my commitment to structure and intention. Eventually, my morning routine became the bedrock of my day. I no longer had to fight to get up. It became a natural part of my rhythm. With each consistent morning, I felt more grounded, more in control, and more connected to my deeper purpose. What had once felt like an effort became a habit, something that set the tone for the rest of my day and reinforced my commitment to living with intention. Lesson: consistency is key to developing good habits and cultivating virtue. It may be challenging at first, especially when you're working to change ingrained patterns, but the rewards are invaluable. When you wake up early and stick to a routine, even when it's difficult, you're building the foundation for personal growth. Remember, the Stoics believed that small, consistent actions lead to the development of a virtuous life. Start by making consistency a part of your daily practice, and over time, it will shape your character and bring a sense of stability and purpose to your days. 8. Practice negative visualization. One of the most powerful and often misunderstood practices in Stoic philosophy is negative visualization. The act of imagining the worst-case scenarios or contemplating potential challenges that could arise. At first glance, this might seem like a pessimistic or unnecessary practice, but for the Stoics, it was an essential tool for building resilience and mental clarity. By mentally rehearsing the possibility of adversity, we equip ourselves to face challenges with composure and poise, instead of being overwhelmed when things don't go as planned. Negative visualization isn't about dwelling in fear or expecting the worst. Instead, it's about acknowledging that life is unpredictable and often outside of our control, and preparing our minds to remain calm and adaptable when difficulties inevitably arise. This practice also deepens our sense of gratitude for the things we take for granted, helping us to appreciate the present moment and the blessings we currently have, knowing that they are not guaranteed. Personal story. I first encountered the concept of negative visualization when I started reading about Stoicism. At first, I was skeptical. Why would I intentionally think about what could go wrong? But over time, I started incorporating this practice into my life, especially before important meetings or challenging situations. I would take a few moments before the event to imagine everything going wrong. A presentation failing, a meeting turning tense, or even a personal setback. I pictured these worst-case scenarios and thought about how I would respond. This simple act of mental rehearsal didn't make me anxious. It helped me feel prepared. The results were remarkable. When I faced those challenges in real life, I wasn't caught off guard. I was able to maintain a sense of calm and take proactive steps to navigate the situation. And when things went smoothly, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. The contrast between the imagined difficulties and the actual experience made me appreciate the easy moments even more. Lesson: negative visualization is a powerful tool for preparing mentally and emotionally for adversity. By visualizing potential challenges, you not only build resilience, but also increase your appreciation for the present moment and the things you often take for granted. This practice allows you to approach life's inevitable setbacks with a clear mind and a calm demeanor, knowing that you are mentally equipped to handle whatever comes your way. In doing so, you cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude for the present and a greater sense of control over your responses to life's challenges. 9. Cultivate gratitude. Daily gratitude is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. For the Stoics, focusing on what we have rather than what we lack is essential for cultivating a peaceful and fulfilling life. Marcus Aurelius, in particular, often reflected on the importance of being grateful for what life offers, emphasizing that we should find contentment in the present, regardless of our circumstances. By practicing gratitude, we shift our mindset from one of scarcity, focusing on what's missing or what we desire, to one of abundance, appreciating what we already have. The simple act of starting and ending the day with gratitude can transform our perspective. It helps us recognize the good in our lives, no matter how small, and grounds us in a sense of peace. When we actively choose to focus on the positive aspects of our lives, we move away from feelings of discontent and open ourselves to greater joy, contentment, and emotional balance. Personal story. A few years ago, I decided to start a gratitude journal before bed. At first, it felt like a small, insignificant task, writing down 3 things I was grateful for at the end of each day. But as I continued the practice, I noticed a shift in my perspective. No matter how difficult or chaotic the day had been, I always found something to be thankful for. Whether it was a moment of kindness from a friend, the beauty of a sunset, or even the warmth of my home at the end of a long day, I began to appreciate the small moments that I had once overlooked. Over time, this daily practice of reflecting on gratitude transformed the way I saw the world. It grounded me in the present and helped me find joy in even the simplest aspects of life. This practice didn't just impact my evenings, it spilled over into my mornings as well. I woke up feeling more centered, more content, and more connected to what truly mattered. Gratitude became a lens through which I viewed my life, and it brought a profound sense of peace and joy that I had never fully experienced before. Lesson: gratitude is a powerful practice that has the ability to shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. By making gratitude a daily habit, we cultivate an attitude of appreciation for the present moment, which fosters a sense of abundance rather than scarcity. Whether you practice it in the morning or evening, gratitude helps reframe our experiences and provides us with a deeper sense of peace and joy. Make it a regular part of your routine, taking just a few moments each day to reflect on what you're thankful for, and you'll start to notice a profound shift in your outlook on life. 10. Reflect on mortality to live with purpose. One of the most striking practices within Stoic philosophy is the regular reflection on our mortality. The Stoics believed that by contemplating the fleeting nature of life, we could cultivate a greater appreciation for the present and, more importantly, focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the inevitability of death, using it as a way to remind himself to live with intention, pursue virtue, and avoid wasting time on trivial matters. By acknowledging that our time is limited, we can direct our energy toward actions and relationships that bring meaning and fulfillment, rather than being sidetracked by distractions or superficial pursuits. Reflecting on mortality doesn't mean living in constant fear of death. It's about gaining perspective. When we recognize the impermanence of life, we are reminded to make each day count. This practice allows us to focus on what is most important: our values, our relationships, our growth, and live with purpose. Personal story. Every morning, I make it a habit to reflect on life's impermanence. It may sound morbid, but in reality, it brings me a sense of peace and clarity. I remind myself that life is short and that time is precious. This reflection isn't meant to create anxiety, but rather to motivate me to live each day with intention. It helps me prioritize what truly matters: my relationships, my personal growth, and the virtues I strive to live by. For example, when I feel distracted by the small annoyances of life or the pressures of work, I take a moment to reflect on how temporary these challenges are. I ask myself, will this issue matter in a week, a month, or a year? When I view life through this lens, I find myself less bogged down by inconsequential problems and more focused on what I can control, living in a way that aligns with my values, nurturing meaningful relationships, and growing as a person. Lesson: Reflecting on our mortality is a powerful way to gain clarity and live with purpose. By embracing the wisdom of life's brevity, we are inspired to focus on what truly matters and avoid wasting time on fleeting concerns. This practice encourages us to live intentionally, making the most of each day and ensuring that we spend our time cultivating the relationships, growth, and virtues that will leave a lasting impact. Remember, the Stoics weren't obsessed with death. They used it as a tool to remind themselves to live fully, with a clear sense of purpose and alignment with what truly matters. Reflecting on mortality, then, is not a call to despair, but an invitation to live each moment with intention, knowing that our time here is limited. If you're ready to live each day with purpose, subscribe now and join our journey of Stoic wisdom. Like this video if you're committed to transforming your mornings, and share it with someone who could benefit from a life of more clarity and peace. Together, let's embrace the Stoic way of living with intention.